Kathleen Gallagher, the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto.
And I am Nikos Govas from the Hellenic Theatre Drama and Education Network, which is a teacher association, drama teachers association in Greece.
In Athens?
Yeah, in Athens.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So I want to first start by asking you, even though I know that we're in the middle of things and you've hardly had time to reflect because we've had such full days and every minute, it seems, is a new set of challenging and inspiring ideas. But insofar as you can at this point in the week, can you talk about what you think are the most important or significant learnings that you've had that you will bring home with you?
Oh, well, the most significant clarification of some people's clarification of some notions that I've received in paper, and I wasn't sure exactly what people mean. Like, for example, care, hope, and I was giving interpretations which I wasn't sure that I was on the same track like everybody else. And it did help a lot that we were face to face, trying to explain. I learned, so things are better now as far as this is concerned. And I also like it kind of gained this variety of how people from different sides approach these ideas. And they showed me aspects that I haven't thought before. And to be honest, in the beginning I was a bit anxious and I worried about why I didn't have these clarifications from the first place. And then I realized by looking at you and the way you shared their work, I thought that it's good that you haven't made everything in very detailed clear. So that's something I learned too.
So my secret is out. My preferred way of working is that I don't prescribe how we'll do things or what things mean, because I like those to emerge in context-specific ways. The downside of that is that sometimes people feel concerned that they don't have enough information, and that because we live in a world where we're constantly made to feel that there is a right answer and a right way of doing things. And even for us, never mind kids in schools, but even for us, we feel like there's some secret that someone hasn't let us in on about the right way to do something. And I resist that in every way that I work. Now, I know that presents a challenge to people who are at such a distance. We don't have a common language even. And I mean that language in the big sense. I mean the meanings that circulate, the currency of ideas and words are different in our different sites. And part of the richness for me of a project like this is that we need to settle upon working understandings that are not imposed on us, but come from the political and cultural contexts and the material considerations that we live in every day.
And this is exactly what I appreciate most, actually.
Good.
And the way I was looking, how you were dealing with this material and the way you were responding to people, and realize as a methodology, actually, it may take longer time for some people to come, but it's deeper, and in a kind of a different level. It's a good methodology to apply with even teaching adults or even students. In some cases, we know a lot of time in Greece, at least my education background, and when I was young, and even the university student, we spend a lot of time expecting other people to tell us what to do.
Exactly.
And at least back home, that it was the case. It's changing, of course. Now it's getting more open, and your approach helped me a lot, clear that a lot, which I appreciate that.
That's great. One of the things that you talked about it as a methodology, and we might think about that as a research methodology drama and performance methodology. There's many ways we can apply the word methodology, but one of the things that is important to me about this kind of intercultural and geopolitical research is it's very easy for us to reproduce the structures of global power that exist. It's very easy for either cultural stereotypes or unchallenged assumptions about where power resides to get re-articulated through our project, even though we say we want to do otherwise. There are so many ways for us to reproduce those power structures. And
you mean we don't do that consciously, we do it
unconsciously.
Unconsciously.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even when we think we're doing the opposite.
Exactly. Yes. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And that's why when we have meetings like that,
Exactly.
it helps a lot to realize what you just said.
Yeah, and also to define not just the differences we assume we have, but the real differences. You know, the real, the perspective taking that we, you know, when Urvashi was saying in our last session, well, I felt this way because I come from here. So it's impossible for me to think about it this way. And I think when you bring people together to really battle around not just our perceptions of other people, but being able to say, I see things this way because I'm situated in this way with respect to dominant ideas of power or dominant ideas of education. And you have been a voice in our group that has said, we're doing a lot wrong in education. We are not just simple mistakes, big consequential mistakes in how we understand education. So I want to invite you to, we've had exchanges from different sites. We've had visits to schools and to theaters in Canada, in Toronto. When you leave here, what will you go away with in terms of how understandings of education have been made more complex for you?
Wow, more complex. Education will be more complex. Yes, it is getting more complex, of course. It's been more one-dimensional. I think in Greece is because things are very so heated with the political and with all the other crises. It's difficult to sit back for a minute and see the whole picture. Quite often getting too much involved into small pictures. That leads normally to think in one way, in one dimension. So being here actually and meeting you, the excellent people here, yes, your research fellows and all the other people, I see other levels of other dimensions of this education, and I heard comments. And actually, I learned more when people were surprisingly asking back questions and asking me, saying, what do you really mean by this? Which means I didn't make myself clear, which I thought I was very clear, of course, and was very obvious. And other people's eyes, I could see that they don't understand exactly what I mean. And things that I've taken for granted, they're not for granted. All the other. So I learned more by the surprises. My articulation, what I was saying actually created to other people's faces, and that started making me wonder why did they get? Why are they surprised with this? I mean, for us, it's a natural thing to do, to say, to happen. Apparently, it's not for everybody.
Can you give an example of something? Because you're not just talking about cultural clashes. You're talking about orienting ideas, and I think in the political sphere as well. And so if you can find an example of some of our deliberations this week.
I'm not sure. Can't remember. I remember that when I was describing details, people are surprised because of the details. They say, "Oh, no, we don't do that like that at home. We do it in a different way." But when we explain that, like for example, the education system, the examining system, the teacher's profession, job, and the status, and all this stuff. People are surprised that, for example, we don't have drama rooms, we don't have basic resources in our schools, and they think, how can you work in a school without this? But then when it comes to speak, at least this group, about why this is happening and to see the bigger picture, then I realized that most of us agreed in another level. And quite often I enjoyed that people used similar words like it did, which was solidarity to solve problems, and I like that and enjoy that. That some people are here in the group, they use this word more often as the days were going on. I think this is what I noticed.
We were building it.
And still we'll see how we do this.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to say than to do.
Yeah. So let me ask you one last question, which is about a personal question for you. You have a long career doing drama, doing drama, and in education, and you're part of very vibrant networks, and you have struggled to do many of these things very much from the margins, as you've described your context to us. So, what is there for you in drama? What is the driver for you?
Oh, what's the driver for me? Why I do that, you mean?
Why you do that? You wonder why the teachers you work with do it. I want to know why you do it.
I ask this question to myself too. I think I like being with other colleagues, being together. Because I realize that learning is something that doesn't happen when you're alone. You have to learn together with other people. So, and because I always consider myself as a teacher first and then anything else, or drama person or theater person. So I realize that I have a lot to learn by being with other people together. That's why I'm there. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm not doing just in drama. I just create many several networks in other fields too. But it's always something that attracts me. I mean, the theme of the subject. For example, we have another network on bullying. We have another network in Greece that I'm involved on this refugees crisis, as I was told. It's always something that I feel that I have to do it, and that's something I cannot do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with other people. So, and because it's not there, I'm getting a couple of friends and we created it and we just try to do it. Quite often we fail. Sometimes we manage to create this kind of networks. So I'm there because I like being with other people and learn together with them. It's not something I could just learn at home while reading a book.
And when the economic times, the structural and systemic oppressions on you and your friends and your country, people, when it is as bad as you've described it to us, what resources does this fire you up more? Does it deplete your resources? Put it in the context of the current moment.
Well, you see, we used to do that, at least I used to do that. I used to have the same attitude. I didn't do that on purpose, on consciousness. Now I'm looking back on my 35 years in education, I realize that even the times where we're more flourishing with money, and I still liked and enjoyed being together with people in networks and different countries, different places, and exchanging good practices, views, ideas. Even now, it's getting even more important with all this economical crisis, because people cannot resolve. I mean, there's nowhere else that you can get power and hope and power and empowerment but your own colleagues and your own peers. So, and that's true for in Greece. It's not just money. Money is not there anyway. But we are there because we have to support each other, actually. And this is very important. This is not a choice, actually. Those who have been alone on this difficult path, they're having a really bad time. And then they did manage at the end. So it's not just me, it's just a lot of people in Greece in the last few years, they've realized that. That's why we've been creating so many smaller, bigger groups of solidarity in several levels and several issues, several, what do you call it, reasons of getting together. So they didn't exist 6 or 7 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago, more isolated society. Now, this crisis helped us get together. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. We're not trained to work in groups.
Right.
Now we learn it in a hard way.
Right.
Did I answer your question or not?
You
Not
really
sure.
answered my question. You
I'm
have
not
left
sure.
me
I'm not sure.
reflecting. Do you have any questions you would want to pose?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
Not at the moment. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Perfect.